outside right now, and you made it happen, and so thanks for being here this morning. I was gone last week. I was at the AFC Divisional Championship game with the Chiefs, and we won, which was awesome. And so, yeah. So today's the day that we're going to win the AFC Championship. It's pretty awesome. I love that St. Louis is getting behind Kansas City. It's our state team, and so we should do that, right? And I think what's really cool is today the Chiefs are going to win the Lamar Hunt Trophy, which is really cool. So that's the trophy that was named after the original owner of the Chiefs, Lamar Hunt. So it's going to be really awesome. I'm pumped about today, and it's going to be a great time at 2 o'clock. But we've got a job to do here, and so this is way more important, what we're going to talk about here, than a silly game, okay? And I get way too wrapped up in this stuff, I'll confess. And I think that it really reveals a lot of idols in my life sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And there are different things that happen in each of our lives that kind of reveal idols in our lives. The Chiefs, football, it's a weird thing for me. I don't know why I get so sucked into it. Every time I tell myself I'm not going to get sucked into it, I still do. And then I'm like let down and defeated or whatever. And so I'm riding on cloud 9 right now, and hopefully I'll be able to say the same thing around 5 or 6 o'clock tonight. But anyways, I'm really glad that you're here this morning, and there may or may not be some football illustration thrown in my sermon today, and I'm just really glad that you decided to show up with it being 0 degrees outside and all. Today, my agenda is as I worked through my sermon notes and in preparation for today, we're on the kind of the beginning season of a new small group season at our church, and so we're talking about community today and why you need community, why we need each other, why we need relationship. We are designed for relationship. If you're here today, no matter where you're at on the spiritual journey, there's something for you today. And so my hope is you're here and you're kind of skeptical about God. There's some stuff for you. If you're here and you're convinced that God is God, then there's some stuff for you. And if you're here saying, I got a next step to take spiritually, there's a step for you as well. And so my hope is that we all take a step closer to finding and following Jesus in this sermon. Our church does 3 things, and so this is a really great sermon to start with to let you know the 3 things our church does. We do weekend worship, and so what we're experiencing right now is what we call our weekend worship service. It meets on Sunday mornings. We may have a Saturday night service someday, so we like to call it weekend worship now because we realize that it may encapsulate something completely different someday. But right now we meet on Sunday mornings at 9 and 10:30 corporately, and it's fun. And so we always try to design our services to be inspiring, life-changing, and really encouraging people to take a next step closer to finding and following Jesus. The second thing that we do really well at our church is we do small groups. And so we're a church, not that some churches have small groups, and some churches are a church of small groups. We don't just offer a small group program. We really want our church to be comprised of small groups. And so as our church grows larger, it also needs to grow smaller at the same time. And I'm proud to tell you 70% of the adults in our church are in a small group. And so that's way beyond the national average. Our goal, our aim is 80%. And then once we get to 80, it'll be 90. And once it gets to 90, we'll get to 100% involvement in small groups. And we know that may never happen. But man, we really encourage people, because I say this a lot, but I can inspire you in a row, but life change happens in a circle. And so I can get you pumped up, fired up, excited about your journey. But here's the reality. Monday's coming, right? And when Monday gets here, it's really important that you're kind of doing life with some other people and watching their struggles, watching how they deal with difficulty, watching how they deal with battles and blessings in their lives. Because in our lives are composed of really two things, right? Battles and blessings, battles and blessings, battles and blessings. And our life is full of that. It's as if we're on this journey together down a railway system, which, by the way, I'm super intrigued by railroads, aren't you? Like, it's just amazing how they work. I mean, yes, planes are crazy, like how they get a big plane up in the air like that, but the infrastructure of the railway system is super intriguing, and how they figured that out in the 1800s just absolutely blows me away. I think that was the era they figured that out in. Anyways, it was like, this is a really powerful thing to think about how the railway system works. But when I think about my life, I think about 2 different rails. You know, a train moves down 2 rails as it travels, and unless it's a monorail, then it's 1 rail, but we're going to say a train with 2 rails just for this sake of the illustration. Okay, so 2 rails. On both rails, one rail is a battle rail and one is a blessing rail. And as we're going down it, we're faced in life, sometimes at the same time, with battles and blessings, battles and blessings, battles and blessings. And what I want to tell you this morning is this, is that battles and blessings are best faced with a group of friends. And at our church, we do this thing called small groups, which is we get you around a group of friends. And we just encourage people to sign up for those. You can sign up today in the lobby for that. And it's a great next step as you find and follow Jesus. Because as I mentioned before, I can inspire you in a row, but until you get in a circle with a group of people, do you really start experiencing life change together with a group. And then the last thing that we do as a church is we do Directions Discipleship. I'm proud to tell you we have like over 40 adults right now in Directions Discipleship, which is an 18-week discipleship program where we're teaching each other how to become followers of Jesus, how we're inspiring each other to grow deeper in our faith. So those are the three things that we do. We're kind of a Ruth Chris Steakhouse church. We want to do three things really well. We fight against the idea of we don't fight physically. That's not like, although I heard there was a fight last night that lasted 40 seconds. Sorry about those of you that spent money on that. That's crazy. That's why you should just be NFL fans, because it's just free. You just watch it on TV. Anyways. Yeah, I can't wait to watch that 40 seconds today for free. Anyway, so backstory. Oh, I was telling that for a reason. So the thing that's really important here is that we recognize that we're on a journey together, and you can't grow alone. I think about every spiritual step I've ever taken in my life, I took it with other people. I took it with people that were standing to the right and left of me, behind me, and in front of me. I took it with a group of people, and man, I think about the step of salvation for me. Yes, it was a personal decision that I had to make on my own, but it was also a decision that I had a lot of people helping me with. And I think about the step I took of baptism when I was a kid, like that was a step I took, and it was a step that I didn't have to take alone. I think about the step I took whenever I was like 19, and I said, God, I'll go anywhere you want me to go. I'll do anything you want me to do. Like, I didn't take that step alone. I think about the step I took whenever I went to Bible college, and I didn't take that step alone. Whenever I got into, this vocational ministry thing that I'm doing, guess what? I didn't do that alone. And whenever I told that church like 7 years ago that I feel like God's calling me to plant a church, I didn't have to do that alone. Like, I got to do that with a group of people, and we were able to build this building out. And guess what? I didn't have to do that alone either. Like, no spiritual step I've ever taken, I've taken it with a group of people, and I'm really thankful that I'm taking spiritual steps with you guys. Like, those of you in the room, like, I am like blown away that we get to do this together. Like, it's just a great joy, and life is better when you're doing it with other people. We are designed for relationship. In the book of Genesis, God creates man, and God realizes that it's not good for man to be alone, and so he made a companion for man. So he made a companion for Adam with this mate, Eve, and they become God's first family. And it's just an amazing thing that happens, and we know they make a gigantic mistake, which happens to affect us today in our everyday lives. And we, just like them, continue to make these same kind of mistakes. And so, but what's incredible here is this. As Americans, we love our independence, right? We celebrate Independence Day, right? We have a Declaration of Independence, and dude, I'm pro-America. I love America. I love the country we're in. It's awesome. We're blessed to live here. But there is a danger behind independence, and the danger is this: is we can buy into the American culture that we live for independence. So I want to be independently wealthy, right? We all kind of have that desire inside of our hearts, right? Or you want to be independent from your workplace or from your boss. You want to be independent sometimes from your family or independent from your friends. We love to be our own individual, but what happens with individualization, or what happens with this obsession for independence, is that we realize that we actually weren't made for independence. We were made for interdependence, which is we need each other. If you're trying to do life alone, that is a really sad way to live life. And so this morning, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why we need other people in our lives. So 5 reasons why you need other people in your life. This is a really good day to take notes. And so you can flatter me by taking notes or doodling, because I can't tell if you're doodling or taking notes. But man, make sure today's a great day to take notes. And you can also, like I said, you can sign up for a small group by checking on your connection card the letter A for small groups there, or you can also sign up in the lobby, or you can sign up online today as well. And so we have all kinds of ways for you to sign up for a small group. Really want to encourage you to get connected in a group, and I'm going to make a case for why you need other people in your life, which hopefully will lead you to go, yeah, maybe I need to be a part of a small group. So 5 reasons you need other people. The first one is, I need other people to journey with me. The first reason why you need others is you need people to journey with you. The book of Colossians is written by this guy named the Apostle Paul. Paul wrote half of the New Testament, and Paul never really experienced genuine relationship with other people until he had a genuine relationship with God through Jesus. See, Paul had all this head knowledge about God, but it had never actually moved that foot and a half to his heart until it actually like radically transformed his heart and also radically transformed his relationships. And so he has something to say here about the need for other people. Colossians chapter 2, and really just the need for spiritual growth is what he's making the case for here in Colossians chapter 2, verses 6 through 7. He says this, "And now just as you accepted Christ Jesus our Lord, you must continue to follow him." So there is this idea that you need to follow, that you're journeying through life following Jesus. Walking like Jesus, walking in the light, walking together, journeying with him. He says this, "Let your roots grow down into him and let your lives," notice this, it's a plural, your lives be built on him. He's talking to a group of people, not just to an individual here. And that's what's important, that we're journeying together and that we're allowing our lives together to be built on Christ, not our own intentions, not our own desires, not our own obsessions, but on him. Then your faith will grow strong in the truth that you were taught, and you will overflow with thankfulness. And so the Bible compares the Christian journey to a walk, and it's best when you're walking with other people. Now, here's the struggle with walking with other people or being on a journey with other people. When you walk with other people, you have to walk at their pace, and that's hard. Like for me, I'm type A personality. Like it's hard for me sometimes to walk with other people. And I mean, like literally, sometimes it's hard for me to walk next to somebody. That's why if we go to the mall, I'm a bad mall walker. I walk too close to you. I'm probably not walking at the pace. I don't understand slow walkers. Like I'm like, man, how can you walk slow? You drag your feet, you walk slow. We got places to go. We're going to go in the mall, and we're going to be in there for a very limited amount of time. We're not going to be there long, and we're not on a stroll. Like I'm on a mission here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not just killing time. I got stuff. I got places to go, places, people to see, stuff to do. After this, there's something else to do. So let's pick up the pace, right? So like it's hard when you're walking with me because I always want to get somewhere in a hurry. I very rarely am just like killing time. Well, let's just kind of hang out and walk around the mall. Like that sounds like a nightmare to me. You know what I'm saying? If we're gonna hang out and kill time, I got these new sofas that recline. They're amazing. It is the most amazing old people purchase I've ever had in my life. Our furniture was just kind of wearing out, and it was that pleather stuff that started peeling real bad, and I was like, dude, I got to get some new furniture. And we started looking at it, and I remember actually Wade and Abby bought an old people couch a couple years ago, and I was like, has like a console thing with cup holders, and I was like, that looks pretty good. And what's great is Wade and I, although we're like nearly the same age, I love watching him make those purchases before me because I'm like, this is acceptable. I can do this now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm journeying through life with Wade, who is just a little bit further down the road than me. It's nice, and so I didn't mean to sell him out, but there are 3 reasons why you shouldn't journey alone, okay? First of all, it's safer when you're in a pack. It just is. Life is dangerous and difficult. It's less risky whenever you're traveling and you're journeying with people through this walk of life to not do it alone. It's safer. It just is. The enemy is wanting your life. He does. Because Satan can't destroy God, Satan tries to destroy God's family, his kids. See, if you couldn't come after me, who would you come after? You'd come after my family, right? And Satan knows that he can't destroy God because God's perfect and bigger than Satan and all that. But what he knows he can do is he knows he can distract his children and hurt his kids. And that's what Satan's mission is every single day with you. It's safer on the journey of life, on this battle and blessing journey. It's safer whenever you're together, when you're with some other people that are able to help you. It's also more supportive, and so it keeps you from giving up. Man, I always, I love this. There's an African proverb that says this: you can run alone and run fast, or you can run with a group of people and run a longer distance. I would rather run a longer distance. By the way, I hate running, but if I was going to run, I would rather run at a slower pace and a longer distance than run this quick sprint. Life is not a sprint. Life is a marathon. And all these cliche words, whatever, like it's great, right? But listen, it's important that you understand that your life is not some quick 30-second sprint. It's a journey. And so on the journey, don't you want some people that are supporting you? For me, that happens at our church. But it not only happens at our church, it also happens in the context of friendship. It happens in the context of my small group. It happens in the context of me having some mentors in my life that are 10 or 15 years down the road from me buying couches that have recliners and cup holders. And I'm like, man, this is amazing. That's a stupid illustration, but what it helps you to understand is you need someone in your life that's a little bit further down the road than you that you can learn from, that you can gain insight and wisdom from, which leads us to the third reason you shouldn't journey alone. It's just smarter not to. It's smarter to journey with other people. You think about the people that climb the highest mountains in the world. You know what's amazing? I love documentaries. I have like a master's degree in Netflix documentaries. Anyways, what's amazing about documentaries, and not documentaries, I love the documentaries of people that climb mountains. People that climb mountains don't climb them alone. They don't set out with oxygen tanks and camping gear and rock climbing gear and all the stuff they have to do. They go out with a team of people to do it together. And I think about what it takes. It's just smarter. It's smarter for you. It's wise for you to do life with other people. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 26 says this: those who trust in their own insight are foolish, but everyone who walks in wisdom is safe. Man, community is God's answer to loneliness. If you feel lonely, what you need is community in your life. And I used to think that what I needed was 2,500 Facebook friends. You remember a day in your life when you thought that? Like, man, I just need some more Facebook. Man, if I just had some more friends, I wouldn't feel lonely. If I just had more people around my life. You know, you can be in a big city, you can be around a ton of people and still feel lonely. And so there was a shift in my heart, maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, when I realized I don't need quantity of friends. What I need quality friends. I need people that can sniff out stuff in my life before it's happened. I need people in my life that are walking in step with me. Maybe their pace is a little faster or a little slower, but I need people that are with me, right? And that is the antidote to loneliness is community. You need community in your life. It's safer, it's more supportive, it's a smarter way to live your life. There are two groups of people that God has given you. God has given you your physical family, which they're awesome. God has given me a great physical family. He's given me a great wife. He's given me great kids. He's given me great parents. He's given me a great brother. Like God has given me a great a great family that lives with me, and I also have a great extended family. This is the family that I was born into or that I helped birth into the world. What a great family unit I have. But equally as great, God has also given me a spiritual family. And I love both families, and I'm really glad for both of them. And that they support me in different ways. And man, I am just really thankful for my physical family, but I'm also mega thankful for my spiritual family. Grace River Church, that's my spiritual family. Like, you don't know this, because I probably don't talk about it near often enough, but I draw encouragement from our time together. I really do. I love hanging out at Grace River Church. And not because I work here. I made a decision a long time ago that I would never pastor a church that I wouldn't want to go to myself. So if there comes a day where I don't want to go here, I'll just resign. That's how that'll go. See, nothing personal, just, But if I was like a teacher, a nurse, a doctor, monster truck driver, whatever, if I was just living in St. Charles County, would I go to church here? And I can tell you, yes, I would. I would go to church here. I love Grace River Church. I love the people of Grace River Church. I love the systems of Grace River Church. I really love the church, and I love the person Jesus Christ more than any of that stuff, because he died for our church, and he died for every single person that's ever lived. But here, what I want you to understand is your spiritual family is here to be a community for you. And you can gain community on Sunday mornings, but you're never really going to build deep relationships until you serve on a team or join a small group. And our church, we facilitate some deeper relationships in small groups because I can inspire you in a row, but life change happens in a circle. And so community is God's answer to loneliness. I did a sermon like this a few years ago, and we were doing a dessert at my house with people that were new to the church. We used to do this thing called dessert at the pastor's house or whatever. It was kind of fun, and you get to have dessert at my house. We don't do that anymore, sorry. Because it just got weird. I don't know. Just people got creepy. I think they felt like I was creepy. Anyway, so we stopped doing dessert. Maybe you want to have dessert at my house. We can do it sometime. Anyways, so we did dessert at my house. It was a thing we used to do, and it was cool. And this young lady says, it was the Sunday I did the community talk like this, and only it was a different sermon. She goes, "You have me sold on community. I want to join a small group. But can you tell me what happens if I go to a small group?" And I was like, duh, that's so stupid. I can't believe I didn't tell you what happens if you go to a small group. So I'm going to tell you what happens if you go to a small group just for a quick second. If you were to go to a small group, here's what you would do. You'd come and you'd take your shoes off and we handle snakes. No, I'm kidding. We don't do that. It's not what happens in a small group. You're like, man, that's creepy. I'm out. I think I'm checking out of this sermon. No, we don't ask anybody that I know of. I don't think we ask anybody to take their shoes off, that I know of. Now, and we definitely don't handle snakes. But at a small group, you show up to your small group, you hang out for a little bit, have some light conversation. There's usually some kind of a snack or something like that because we love to eat, and you can tell that I love snacks. So I can't stop. Anyways, and then there's a discussion about the sermon content. And so a lot of churches do it different ways. For us, we do sermon-based small groups, and so there's 4 or 5 questions that are asked about the sermon, and they're different questions based off of what the sermon content was. And so we use this model called Sticky Church. It's by a guy in Southern California. His name's Larry Osborne, and he designed this idea of doing small groups that stick. So like content that you hear on Sunday morning is also the content you're going to hear at your small group, but you're going to hear it not in an inspirational way, but more of a discussion. I wish church could be a dialogue. It would just be really confusing. Like if I could have you talking back to me while I'm talking, that would be awesome. Actually, there was a guy that did that one time, and I hated it. But anyways, when I first, I'm not gonna. He could be listening. So anyways, there was this guy. He would finish my sentences as I was talking, and I thought, I'm gonna murder you. Anyway, so it didn't work out for him to stick around, but good dude. He loves Jesus. I'm sure he's talking back somewhere at church right now, but. But what's great about a group is it's a chance to have a dialogue. Instead of it just being a monologue where you hear one professional pastor, and that may be a stretch on myself. You hear one pastor talking. Instead of that, you're able to sit in a circle of people that are in the same boat that you're in. And by the way, I'm in the same boat that you're in as well. My life's not perfect. My life's not all put together. I've got struggles and difficulties. I got battles and blessings in my life all the time. And I love that I don't have to go through those alone. And the reason I don't have to go through those alone is I'm a part of a small group, and I have friends that are pointing me in the direction of Jesus. And so the antidote for loneliness is community. The second reason why you need others is I need others to work with me. I hate working alone. Like it's not something I get a lot of joy out of. I love working with a team. It's just something about it. When you're working alone, there are some jobs that you have to do alone. There's some administrative tasks from time to time that you just need 100% brain focus. I got to get this done. I got to do it alone, and that's just what it is. But I love working on the context of a team. We have a great team here at Grace River Church. Our church is made up of different teams, which, by the way, shout out to the parking lot team. How awesome was that? Zero degrees outside. Yeah. I felt bad. Like part of me was like, you guys, come on, do not do that today. But I'm really glad they were out there. In fact, I spoke a little bit too long in the first service, and so we actually needed some parking lot flow stuff out there. They're still waving at you guys when they come in. I think that's just a commitment and dedication that needs to be honored. I want to be careful that we're not like honoring people all the time in our church. We want to honor Jesus, but man, what a cool commitment to Christ those guys have, and so I'm very grateful for them. We transitioned a lot of those guys off of what used to be the setup and tear down team. They thought they were retiring. We just had a better job for them, and when I say better, I'm not sure if it's better, but we do double their pay though, so it's cool. You're like, you pay them? No, we don't pay them. I'm kidding. We don't pay them anything. So I need other people to work with me, man, and I love working together. Ephesians chapter 2, Paul writes this, says, for we're God's masterpiece. He has created us, not just you, he's created us anew in Christ so we can do the good things he planned for us long ago. I need us and we. I don't want me. Because when I get the focus just on me, whenever I get the focus on just me, myself, and I, that is not a great place to be. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 says, 2 people are better than one. The wisest person to ever live, besides Jesus, wrote these words. His name was Solomon, and he said, 2 people, 2, are better than one, for they can help each other succeed. I am so glad that I get to work with other people. We all have a job to do, every one of us. Now, you have a job that you do, like an occupation maybe, but you also have a spiritual job to do, and I'm really glad that I don't have to do the spiritual work alone. And so, man, it's a great thing. So community is God's answer to fatigue. Community is God's answer to fatigue. Galatians chapter 6, verse 10 says, therefore, when we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone. Man, when you have the opportunity to encourage somebody, take it. Take that opportunity. In our church, I want to find people doing the right thing. Like, I want to catch you in the act of you doing something awesome and go, hey, what you just did, that was awesome. Like, I love that. Like, I want to be the awesome police. Like, hey, what you just did, fantastic. Keep that up. I love that. When I walk down our kids' hallway, I stop almost every Sunday and I just say, dude, you guys are killing it. Way to go. Like, this is unbelievable. And the reason I do that is because I would hate to work with kids, just so you know. But, like, they do it every single week, and they do such an awesome job. And I'm just like, man, you guys are doing something that I could never do. And so thank you. Like, that is an awesome, awesome thing. But here's the thing. We shouldn't keep those kind of words silent. Like, we should be looking. If you see a greeter out there killing it, tell them they're doing a good job. Like, we should be encouraging each other on. And here's the thing. What's really powerful about being a part of a small group is you have people in a circle speaking into your life, coaching you, pushing you on life's journey in the middle of your battle and your blessings. The third reason why we need a relationship is I need other people to watch out for me. Paul writes in Philippians chapter 2, verse 4, he says, don't look out for your own interests, but also take in the interest of others. This, by the way, is one of the most convicting passages of Scripture for me in the New Testament. And the reason why is as a pastor, I'm not good at this. And this is something I'm working on. And I'm going to give you a reason why I'm not good at it. Someone can ask me how my week was. And this happened today with my friend Lance. Lance asked me, how's your week been? And I went into like an 8-minute deal about how my week went. Like, it was awesome. I'm checking all the boxes on how my week went. And I walk away from Lance to go to the bathroom. And as I'm in the bathroom, I thought, Chris, you never asked Lance how his week was. I thought, again, awful friend. Like, I just need to get better at asking people how their week was. I need to get better at asking people what's going on in their lives and not always talking about me. And don't agree too fast. Give me a complex. Because I think we all struggle with that to a certain extent. Because we love talking about ourselves. Now, Lance is a sales guy, so he's a pro at getting people talking about themselves because he knows he can sell them whatever he's trying to sell them doing that, right? And some of my closest friends in our church are sales guys, and so they're really good at getting people to talk about themselves. And oftentimes they expose my weakness of not listening well. But man, what it looks like for you is you need other people to watch out for you, man. It's important that you're slowing down and taking an interest not only in your own life, but in the lives of other people around you. And so Hebrews chapter 13 writes, and the writer of Hebrews says, keep on loving each other as brothers and sisters. Again, Solomon says in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 12, a person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. Man, could you be a person that's standing by themselves? And maybe the step for you spiritually would be you deciding that, you know what, I'm gonna stand with some other people. Now, what's important is this, is that some of you are hearing me talking right now, and you're saying, I've been a part of a group before, I've been a part of a church before, and I've gotten hurt. And what I want to tell you is this, I'm sorry that happened. Christians are not perfect. And the best way I can give you that illustration is Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is delicious, is it not? I mean, it is like the most amazing sandwich. It's like a little bit of heaven on earth. It's just amazing stuff. I get the spicy chicken sandwich with pickles. If you ever want to give me my favorite thing, that's what I do. And because I'm kind of watching my weight a little bit, I only eat half the bun. So I tear off and then anyways, Jason Dames is here. I felt like I needed to tell him that. Anyway, so that's that's the closest I'll ever get to keto or low carb, is I'll just eat half the bread. If I can just do half, that's better, right? But every once in a while at Chick-fil-A, I'll get a bad bite of chicken. You ever had that happen to you? Like you're biting into the sandwich and it just tastes like you're eating garbage? Like you're like, what is this? It looks like it's a gristly part of the chicken. I don't like dark meat, so every once in a while you'll bite into the chicken. It's like, whoa, that was no good. And I'll spit it out, but guess what I'll do next week? I still go back to Chick-fil-A. Even though I got a bad bite of chicken, I still go back. And every once in a while at church, you're going to experience a relationship that sets you back a little bit. Every once in a while, when it comes to encountering Christians, you're going to be let down and disappointed. And this is my moment to tell you something. I'm probably going to disappoint you at some point because guess what? I'm not the Pope. And even the Pope lets people down. You see, he slapped that lady's hand the other day? I was awesome. I thought, you go, Pope. I was like, way to go, man. Nice work. Because that's what I would do too. Some lady grabbed my hand. Anyway, so showed a little bit of humanity there. It was nice. But what I'm telling you is this. I'm not bashing the Pope. What I'm telling you is he is a person just like you and I are. And he needs Jesus just like you and I need Jesus. And if you're looking for a perfect pastor, I'm not your guy. I'm just telling you straight up. And I love this moment because when I do let you down, we're able to reference this moment and say, hey, remember when I told you I was going to hurt you? I never claimed to be perfect. I'm going to let you down because I'm a person just like you are. And I have battles and blessings in my life. I have good days. I have bad days. And in the middle of it all, we're doing life together. And sometimes you may encounter me on a bad day. And you may say the wrong thing to me on a bad day, and I may say the wrong thing right back to you. And but the whole point here is I need other people in my life to watch out for me in the middle of a bad season. In the middle of a battle, I want people in the trenches with me that know me, that love me. You need the same thing. You need people that when you're in the middle of life battles, whenever you're in the middle of a medical scare, whenever you're in the middle of a job scare, whenever you're in the middle of a relational scare, whenever you're in the middle of some grief or some whatever going on in your life, you need people in the trenches with you that say, hey man, I love you and I'm with you. Like, no matter what you're up against, I'm with you on this. And so I need other people to watch out for me. No one ever gets through their hurts, habits, hang-ups, failures alone. I think about the struggles I've had in my life. To get through those struggles, I never was able to say, hey, I'm going to pile all this weight on me, and I'm going to work my way through this. It's never happened like that for me. How I've gotten through the struggles in my life is I connect myself to Jesus Christ and those that love him, and I get through the struggle. Not in my own strength, but through the strength of his and through other people coming alongside of me, journeying with me through life. So community is God's answer for defeat. When you feel defeated, what you need is community in your life. Oftentimes, we do the opposite, though. When we get defeated and we get discouraged, what do? We we love to isolate ourselves. So if I get defeated, bad news comes my way, bad circumstance that accidentally happens, or that like the universe deals me a bad hand, and it's something that you're just like, I had no control over this. And then other times, it's the stuff that I had 100% control over, and I still love to blame God over it all. But what I do is, in the middle of me blaming God, whether it's a mistake I made or just a mistake somebody else made, my default mode is to isolate myself and not talk about it with other people. But that will only bring you into a deeper place of depression, only bring you into a deeper place of loneliness. Only isolation is not the cure for anything. And the reason I know that is like solitary confinement is the worst type of punishment. Isn't that amazing? I'm watching this show right now on Amazon Prime. It's called Alone. It's a weird show, but it's like Survivor, only people aren't like half naked, so I can justify watching it. Anyways, sorry, Survivor fans, didn't mean to Jesus juke you. Anyways, so like, but this show, it's weird. It's like, instead of like them like having teams and being all dramatic about whatever, it really is just about survival. And like, it's one person alone on Vancouver Island, and they have to find out a way to survive. It's fascinating. I'm like, dude, I'm not outdoorsy, but I can live my outdoorsy, this little portion of me, through them. But what makes these people quit, they put 10 people on this island, the reward's $500,000 if they can make it out. The guy in the first season lasted like 52 days, like amazing. And the biggest battle they face isn't the elements, because it's like a tropical rainforest. The biggest battle they face is loneliness. And it made me think a lot about this sermon. I think the biggest battle you face in your life isn't necessarily your circumstances, it's being alone in your circumstances. Man, you don't have to be alone. Like, God has given us an antidote to loneliness. It's community, it's each other. And so community is God's answer for defeat. If Ecclesiastes 4 verse 10 says, if one person falls, another can reach out and help them. But people who are alone, when they fall, they are in real trouble. Man, don't do life alone. The fourth thing is I need other people that will wait and weep with me. I need people in my corner when I'm grieving to grieve with me. I need people in my corner that whenever I'm going through something, a difficulty, that I'm not grieving alone. It's not a matter of if you will face grief. You are going to face grief. Like, it's going to happen in your life. Grief is coming. There's going to be something in your life, some type of bad news, because none of us live this Hakuna Matata life. Like, we all have worries, we all have fears, we all have difficulties. It's coming. Stop being surprised with it when it happens, and instead be ready when it happens. And be ready with some quality friends in your life that will sit and wait and weep with you. Look at this in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. Finally, all you should be of one mind. Look at this. Sympathize with each other. You know what being sympathetic really means? It means putting yourself in that person's shoes and sitting and waiting and weeping with them. Sympathize with each other. Love each other as brothers and sisters. Be tenderhearted and keep a humble attitude. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 26 says, if one part suffers, that's the body of Christ. If one part suffers, all the parts suffer with us. So if one part or one person of our church suffers, listen, the rest of us should suffer with that person. You're going through loss, you're going through grief, you're going through difficulty. The whole body of Christ should sympathize with what you're going through. And here's the reality. That can only happen if you're living in community with the body of Christ. So if you're going through grief and you feel like, man, I'm a part of the church, or I go to this church, but no one really sat and grieved with me. Well, what I would ask you is, are you a part of a small group? And then for further, I would also go, are you really like digging in deep with the people in your small group? Because sometimes we try a small group, we try one, it's not a great experience. I would tell you, try another. Because when you started dating people, did you just date one person, or did you decide, I'm going to date somebody and it didn't work out? Did you just stop dating? You didn't, did you? Like you kept looking for a mate. And man, when it comes to a small group, I think it's important, that you're looking and you're going, man, I know maybe this isn't the greatest fit. Maybe it's not the best night of the week, or maybe the leader talks too much. That's me, if you come to my group. But it's important that you're shoulder to shoulder with people that care about you. Community is God's answer for despair. So community is God's answer for despair. When you're desperate and in despair, community is God's answer for that. The fifth and last thing is I need other people to witness with me. Man, I love that we get as a church to tell people the truth about Jesus. I love that. That's my favorite thing about being a part of the church is I'm high on evangelism. Like I absolutely love telling people the story of Jesus. I got to tell a friend of mine the other day the story of Jesus. And it was like, man, this is what I live for. It's just like excitement. And for me, I love that I don't have to tell those stories alone. Like I love Jordan because he's so good at telling people the story about Jesus. I walk into a grocery store with that dude, and he's trying to find a way to annoy the teller just enough to tell her about Jesus. And he does it in such a pleasantly annoying way that they listen. And it's like, wow, you just did that again. And it's just, if you're friends with Jordan, you know what I'm talking about. Like, he's really good at introducing people to Jesus. And for some of you, like, he did it for you. But what I love is that I don't have to do that alone. Like, I could never be the guy that stands on a street corner with a megaphone, because I think that would be super lonely, and I'd be really afraid that somebody'd like beat me up or something. But what I love about our church, and what I love about the mission that we're on, is I love being in a setting where I get to watch one of you witness to your friends, or one of you invite your friends to church, and I'm just like standing in the background going, I don't even have to talk. Like, we're doing this together. Like, you want to make your pastor just thrilled, invite your friend to church whenever I'm standing around. Because I'll just flip out. Like, I'm doing cartwheel. I can't physically do a cartwheel, but in my brain, I'm doing cartwheels, and those confetti cannons going off. It's like, because God didn't just call me to that. God called us all to that. We have a whole world to tell the truth of Jesus to. And if it's just going to be one guy doing that, 7 billion people aren't going to hear the voice of one person. It's kind of like a snowflake. When you get one snowflake does nothing, right? But you get a bunch of snowflakes snowing together, or whatever they're doing, precipitating together. It can stop a whole city. It's made of a word. But what I want you to know is that together we can do so much more than we could ever do apart. And walking together, journeying together with people requires humility. Because you can't do it your way all the time. It's like any relationship. You're going to have to walk at a faster pace sometimes. Sometimes you're going to have to walk at a slower pace. Sometimes you're going to have to go to a small group on the night that you don't want to go. Like for me, confession, this last semester was like one of the first times I really enjoyed my small group. I don't know what it was, but I just loved my small group this semester. It was so much fun. I made jokes over the years about how I don't love going to small group. And it's at my house, so I can't really escape it. It's like I drive home and I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to small group tonight. You know what I'm saying? There's no way to fight that. 100% participation unless I'm out of town. And so plan a lot of work trips. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But there's something that happened in our small group this semester that just made me really love my group. And I think what happened is after several years, we really got vulnerable with each other and like shared some life stories that were just unbelievable. And it was like, wow. It wasn't just artificial. It wasn't just fake, whatever. It was real. And I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. And we grew together spiritually. And about half the people in my small group are also going through directions, that mentorship thing that I mentioned with discipleship. And it has just revolutionized our group. And what I'm telling you is, it's better to do life with other people than to do it alone. I ask you to bow your heads and close your eyes. I don't know where you're at on the journey this morning, but maybe there's a next step for you to take. And maybe that next step requires being in relationship not only with God, but with other people as well. So I wonder today, if you take a next step, what's that look like? For some of you, that next step may just mean that you're going to become friends with a Christian that could help you. Maybe that's a next step for you. Maybe some of you just need to join a small group, and we got sign-up sheets in the lobby afterwards. I don't know what the commitment that you need to make is this morning, but my prayer for you this week has been that you would not only make a commitment or know the commitment that you need to make, know that next step you need to make, but you'd also have the courage to take that next step. That you would not only clearly know the next step, which I really believe most of you do. Most of you know what that next step is, but that you would have the courage to take that next step. What is that next step? I'm going to pray for you, not only to have clarity on the step, but the courage to take that next step. Let's pray together. Father, we're grateful that you are a God that has a great calling for us. That you are a God that has a great plan for us. And God, we know that the plan that you have for us is far greater than our plan. God, I thank you that you designed us to be relational. You designed us to need not only you, but to need each other. I pray for the person that's isolated themselves, God, that today that you would open their heart and see that life is better together. God, I pray for the person that's been hurt by a staff member at a church, or maybe a small group leader, hurt by a Christian. God, I pray for their hearts. God, that this morning that you would help them to see that we're all imperfect, we're all flawed, and we just need you, and that they would give relationship a second chance. Relationship with you a second chance, and a relationship with other Christians a second chance. God, I'm grateful that I don't have to do life alone, that I get to do it with a group of friends every single weekend and every single week through a group. I'm grateful for what you're up to in the life of our church and what you're up to in our lives individually. We pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Hey, can we've got a hand? Yeah. I hope that you received that well this morning, and that, man, you just know the next step that you need to take. And I want to celebrate one more thing with you before we sing this last song. We're in the middle of our Amen initiative. It's our capital campaign to help us pay for this building, and we're getting ready to actually acquire the land behind us too. There's 1.59 acres for sale for two. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We're in the preliminary stages of conversations with the landowner, and we need that land. If you look at our parking lot today, it's completely packed, and so we're going to need to buy some more parking spaces, and so that costs around $250,000. Phil, the landowner, just won't give it to us. I asked him to, so praying for Phil's heart. Anyway, we're going to eventually buy that land for $250,000. It's 1.59 acres. It's a pretty good deal for commercial land. There's already infrastructure on it. We may eventually build a building on it someday. Who knows? But we know that's one of the next steps for us corporately as a church. We're able to do that stuff because of our Amen initiative and because you've been giving. I want to celebrate. Every month we try to take a Sunday to kind of celebrate what God's done with this commitment, and we got a big one to celebrate with you today. We've actually, to date, raised 59% of our 36-month commitment only in 13 months. Can we give God a hand? Let's show that slide. So that breaks down to this. Our commitment was $503,000, and we've already raised $298,000, 59% of our commitment in only 13 months, which is really cool. So we're beyond halfway, and we're not even halfway on the campaign. And so many of you are wondering, well, what if we get to the campaign and we meet it before the end of 36 months? We're going to still raise more funds because we got more lives to change, more people to impact. It's not about a building or land. The church is not a building I drive to or a property that we own. It's a movement that we choose to be a part of. And so thanks for being a part of the movement. Let's stand together. We're going to receive our offering, and let's worship the King of Kings this morning and throughout the week this week. Thank you, guys.
So raise a hallelujah in the praise.